You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. Welcome to the big show, my family and friends. We certainly appreciate you guys coming by. As always, you know, spending time with Chris Voss and the Chris Voss Show and the amazing, brilliant minds of the guests that come on this show is just something that is so wonderful. You ever just lay in bed at night and you just hear the voice of the Chris Voss Show and the theme song echoing through your head, and you're just like, I'm trying to sleep, damn it. Well, that's the beauty of the Chris Voss Show. And we have so many amazing people, the newsmakers, the hottest authors, billionaires, CEOs, entrepreneurs, you name it. They come on the show, Pulitzer Prize winners, and share with us the most beautiful, amazing things. And in the meantime, you're just sitting there going, gosh, darn it, I'm smarter, and all that good stuff. We got some great 5-star reviews on the, whatchamacallit there, the iTunes. So we appreciate and love everyone who does that. So thank you very much. There's a whole mess that have come in. Hilarious and valuable. Incredibly interesting guests and valuable interviews are even better when Chris brings humor to the important topics. It's easy to understand why so many fans are addicted to his podcast. Here's another one. Chris is incredibly good looking. He looks like Brad Pitt or George Clooney. Wait, I wrote that. Never mind. All righty then. Now we're on to our amazing guest that we have on today. And, you know, we've been needing to talk about fitness, folks. I've seen what you're eating, and you've probably seen what I'm eating. And I'm wearing half of what I've eaten over the course of my life and trying to get rid of the other half. So we have a gentleman on the show who's going to be here to talk to us about fitness, you know, eating right, and exercising right, and, you know, feeling good, because the worst thing you can do as you get old is feel bad, or pretty much like Chris Voss. So there you go. We have Josh Parish on the show with us today. He is the CEO of GetUpGang.com. He has 20 years health and fitness experience as a coach. He's got 5 years soft tissue therapist. I have some jokes there, but I won't do them. Lifelong student, leader, and salesman, and 3+ years as a real estate sales, over $35 million sold. This guy is multifaceted. You know what that means? It means he has more than one facet. He is multifaceted. He's had 100+ various sales jobs. That's the story there. $250,000 spent on personal development, master rapport builder, and solution strategist. And he's a builder of leaders and a coach of coaches. Welcome to the show, Josh. How are you?
Thank you, sir. Feel blessed to be here.
There you go. I've got a lifetime of being a soft tissue therapist, but we'll let people figure out what that means. Anyway, Josh, give us your .coms once again so people can find you on the interwebs.
Now, these are Linktrees. So thejoshparish.com, that's my personal Linktree, Instagram, Facebook, email, all contact information, and then getupgang.com, and that'll take you directly to the newly built community that I've just established. It's a health and fitness community that, well, it's got a lot of great information on there. So come check it out.
There you go. And you got on your Instagram, you got a lot of great workout tips and videos and different ways to do stuff and make it look easy for people. So give us a 30,000 overview of what you do there at getupgang.com.
Yeah. So, man, I started Get Up Gang just because there's a lot of contradicting information out there in terms of health and fitness on the internet. A lot of great coaches out there, but most folks, they're just like, where the heck do I start? And I really try to just throw out the most simplest ways to get started. And, you know, when you join getupgang.com, which is absolutely free, I've got a little 21-day fitness transformation jumpstart, and there's 4 steps. And you could repeat these steps to infinity, but it's posture enhancement. All right. And then number 2 is increase your animal proteins. You need to prioritize that. And then you need to clean out your guts, like intestinal tract cleanliness,
Mm-hmm.
and then your daily movement practice, which is the get-ups. And so just in a nutshell, everybody knows what the burpee is. CrossFit has demonized that. Get down on the ground, get back up. And because it's been demonized by CrossFit as like a punishment, well, I've just turned it, I've rebranded it. It's the get up. And I call it a skill-based movement because if you're not good at getting up, well, you're not getting up off the ground. So, and as we age, our strength to body weight ratio kind of becomes skewed. Like we start to weigh way more than we can lift. And well, it's just important to maintain that physicality as we go forth into our older years and practice those, acts of strength. So moving your body first, it's very, very important. And you don't need any equipment. You really don't have any excuses for getting up off the ground. And really and truly, there's no wrong way to do a get up because it's just getting on the ground and getting back up, even if you have to have help from like a chair or anything. So
there you go.
It's all about the basics, man.
I do that in Vegas. I fall on the ground and then get back up. But you just have a long night of drinking.
I don't care for Vegas just because I have so many of those stories out there. I'm just like, God, that's just a black hole for me. I don't.
Yeah, it can be a troublesome place, especially if there are things that you like that can get you into some troubles. The troubles, as they like to call them, or at least what my judge says. But I get the ankle bracelet off after my last Vegas visit for next week. Call back on the joke for the show. So let's see here. You talked about a number of things you threw at me. And one thing you mentioned was, we don't really have to go, do maybe the heavy working, but we just got to start moving and stuff. There was a Netflix show that I just watched recently, something about the blue zones and living to 100. Have you seen that?
Yeah. I've heard of these films.
Yeah, and basically what this guy found was these people were living to 100, and they weren't going to the gym every day working out, but they were constantly moving, and they were, like you said, sitting down and then getting up. Like they identified these like Japanese people on some island that were all living, these people are living 100, and really they're just always moving throughout their day. They're farming the land and they're just constantly moving and burning calories, unlike me where I just sit in front of the computer for 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it's so easy for us to just sit around all day. Most of our jobs, or at least, my job, I could just be in front of the computer all day and just like you and, just run my mouth and make money. And, well, we kind of forget to, what moving our body is like. And if we don't use it, we lose it. So, and we lose it pretty quickly. I mean, we can gain it back pretty quickly, but we lose it very, very quickly. And just exercise is as complex as you can, as you want to make it, or it's as simple as you want to make it. And I'm just really, really trying to push the message that it doesn't have to be that complex. It's just as simple as just moving.
There you go. So to join getupgang.com, does it cost anything initially, or how does it work? Are you trying to build a community? What's your goal there?
Well, listen, my personal coaching, there is a fee. I have to eat, but to join the Get Up Gang, I do have to eat. I have the light bill, things like that. But I if you can do it on your own, I lay out all the information out there on the Get Up Gang. There's some challenges and courses that are completely free. And, well, I mean, if you're self-driven and you have 30, 45 minutes to run through the information, because I boil it down to the most foundational principles for everyone. But yeah, free of cost. You just go on getupgang.com, hit the join button, and I'll just accept you, and you're there. So
there you go.
Started. So
there you go. And then do you work personally one-on-one with everybody, or how does that work from there?
Yeah, you can it's the little community that I've built, which I really haven't seen too many communities like it. But you can DM me and ask me questions and stuff. And then if you feel like you need more personal attention, then we can work one-on-one, or we can hop on some group trainings. But yeah, I mean, there's just a tremendous amount of good information there that's just very, very simple and clear cut.
There you go. So what's your origin story? What got you into fitness? Why is this important to you? And what was your hero's journey?
Man, growing up, I was a fat kid. And
You?
I was loved. I mean, my family loved me, but they loved to feed me too. And growing up all over the South, the gas stations, they had some good home cooking, and we'd go there after school, and Mom would get me a corn dog, and like Grandma would always be making biscuits, and you can't outwork a good Southern cooking diet. You just absolutely can't do it. So I love to eat, still love to eat, and moving around a lot, because I moved around about every year and a half or so. Stepdad was rising in the ranks of a retail company. But being the new kid and being the fat kid, man, I got the shit end of the stick. I don't know if I can say that, but yeah, it was definitely a hard time, but I learned that you can reinvent yourself as often as you want. You just have to flip the switch. You can learn from your mistakes or where you slipped up. And if you move towns, then you could, especially before social media, like I could be whoever I wanted to next time, not make the same mistakes. But I love baseball. And even though I was fat, I could still get down. And then I hit high school and I was like, all right, it's time to get in shape. And I worked out like hell. And that was all she wrote because, well, I didn't want to be fat anymore, even though I still have fluctuated between extremely good shape and then pretty bad out of shape, just depending on the wave of life. But yeah, I've always been pretty obsessive about the knowledge and wisdom in the health and fitness space.
There you go. So you overcome adversity. You grow up as a pretty challenged child, and now here you are. And when did you really start working out or get your physique in place and locked in?
Well, it's always been a battle for me because I have loved to eat so much, and I love a cold beer. But,
a beer belly.
I was 15 years old, ninth grade, and our baseball coach hired a personal trainer. And the first day the trainer came in, I had a Mountain Dew. And he's like, Josh, I see you working out, but you're drinking these Mountain Dews. You're never going to have abs if you keep drinking those Mountain Dews. And I was just like, no more Mountain Dews for me. So I kind of turned on the Jets a little bit, and yeah, I stopped drinking Mountain Dews and Cokes and all that right then and there. Didn't slow me down on beer drinking at all.
Beer drinking again.
I'm no saint, right? But yeah, that's really when I turned on the Jets, and then the last 3 or 4 years I've been selling real estate down here in Destin, Florida, and about 4-ish months ago, I was like, it's time to get back in really, really good shape and do what I'm supposed to do. And that's lead people to the best versions of themselves. So
yeah,
lead by example. So I've been hell on wheels getting back in shape lately. So,
well, you're definitely in shape. I mean, I've seen your videos. You're definitely in shape and doing well. So you're doing the right thing. Now, one thing you have on as your motto is fuck your luck. Tell us what that means. I thought that really struck me as a great thing for a shirt or a hat.
Man, it really is. Fuck your luck is, I hate when I hear people say, oh, you're lucky, or they didn't earn it. Well, yes, luck happens, but usually people have good fortune whenever they're prepared, when they hit the situation where they're lucky, right? They've adequately prepared themselves to meet the challenge. So if you just depend on luck and good fortune, if you actually receive something, it's going to be very, very short lived, because whether you got a big commission in a sale, or you happen to stumble upon some weight loss drugs, or anything, something drops in your lap, you're not going to keep it because you didn't actually own it in the first place. But if you prepare and you are the person that attracts that commission or those gains, well, then you're going to own it and you're going to keep it, and you're going to steamroll and continue to receive those blessings. So that's just the basis of fuck your luck, because man, I don't believe in luck. I mean, sometimes we do get lucky, yes, but
but it's mostly, I mean, they say luck is what happens when hard work meets opportunity, I think, or hard luck
preparation meets something along those lines. Yeah, I was trying to weave that in there, but I didn't know the saying exactly.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. I mean, people used to do that to me in business. They would come up to me and be like, "God, you're so lucky. You have your own company." And I'm like, "Do you know how much blood, sweat, tears, years, hard work went into this crap?" I get that to people on the podcast. They're like, "Hey, how do I start a podcast like yours?" And I'm like, "I don't know. 15 years ago, you start talking to a mic and no one cares."
You just start and do 2,000 episodes. And then,
you do a million episodes. and then you get one listener. And so that's my mom. I don't think she listens to the show anymore, does she? No, sometimes they say controversial things about religion on here. And I swear she doesn't like swearing, but God bless her. So when you talk about this exercise regimen, do you teach your clients to go, do the big weight lifts in the gym, or do you have them do some of the things that you're talking about where you're just kind of trying to create movement?
Oh man, listen, the gym is the last thing that we should be thinking about.
I love this.
And I know that sounds crazy. Listen, I love the gym. Been going for a long time, but we live so many hours of the day outside of the gym. And again, it's the whole fuck your luck thing, because you have to be it in order to achieve it. You have to receive it. So you can't just go to the gym 3 hours a week and all of a sudden you look like Arnold. Like that's just not. You have to eat the food. You have to have the mindset. You have to have the recovery protocols. You have to do so many different things to actually be that person. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of mental, and the foundational principles have to be solidified before we go and learn all these crazy complex lifts and things. Because I don't work with Olympians and people that want to hop on stage and do competitions. I can, but that's just, it's not like, I'm not going to get you a gold medal, but there's 7 billion people on the planet that aren't going to be in the Olympics. So, but if you're in a disempowered state and you're looking to forge that solid foundation, and if you listen to what I say, you're going to be strong as shit and you can get jacked. But you have to believe that mastery is found within the basics, because if you just repeat the basics over and over and over, oh my God, you'll be better than 98% of people in the industry or whatever you're trying to achieve. So people are always looking for the secret, but there's no secrets out there.
And part of the reason, correct me if I'm wrong, they're looking for the secret is they want some sort of like the shortcut to like, hey, can I just like, what's the secret so I can just like tomorrow I'll be done. They want a shortcut. They don't want to do the hard work. You make a good point too, knowing the basics. I think it was Coach Wooden, the famous NBA or maybe he was college coach. He used to, his basketball players go down and do some fancy cool layup or something. And he's like, well, that's great. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to just do the basics. I want you to work around the key of the basketball key there. I want you to practice your free throws, and so he would always focus on that. Go back to the basics. And you're right, because the basics are the real core, when you say.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I believe I was reading, what's his name? It was Michael Jordan's personal trainer.
There you go.
Tim Grover. Yeah, and he said that Michael Jordan would start out every practice with just simple chest passes. And that's what, if you go watch 6-year-old kids play basketball, the first thing they learn is the simple chest pass. Mm-hmm. So, if Michael Jordan starts with the chest pass, 20 years ago, obviously, but if he started with the chest pass during practice, then, well, there's probably something to it.
Definitely. And it's those simple things, this is the basics, who was the one basketball guy who was it Shaq, who was really a great player, but he couldn't throw free throws for nothing?
Yeah, Shaq was the worst at free throws, I think.
And that's an example of where you got to go back to the basics, because those free throws stack up. They can make a game or not. I'm a big Raiders fan, and they've gotten better, but it used to be that the Raiders would throw so many penalties, they would lose football games because they would give up literally 200 or 300 yards of penalties And basically you have people touchdowns. And they were still playing like 1970s football. And thankfully they moved to the 80s, I think, now, but we're still working on it. But,
those 300 penalty yards, they killed half the other team. So like
that's true. That's true. Just win, baby. I mean, it was the Raiders. I think I talked to who was it I talked to off the Raiders one time. I had become friends with, and we used to talk privately. He won the Tampa Bay. He won his Super Bowl for Tampa Bay, and he played his last season in the Raiders. And I said, why do they always do this, man? Why do they play dirty and they try and cheat and they play ugly and they just get penalties? He goes, that's how we get taught. They're still playing 70s ball. So there you go. You talk about something called selfless selfishness. What does that mean?
Man, so you can't pour from an empty cup. And far too often, I mean, there's a lot of selfish folks out in the world, but not in a good way. And selfless selfishness or selfish selflessness, it works either way. Mm-hmm. It's taking care of your needs first, and then you can go pour into others. Because if we neglect our own personal needs, our the most foundational basics, like, hey, you need to rest, you need to eat good food, you need to take time to unwind and decompress. If you're always just pouring into everyone else and running yourself ragged, well, then you're really, the people that you're trying to pour into, you're showing up about half yourself. So when you actually just slow down, take care of your needs first, then you can move forth and pour into people like you want to pour into them. Because, I mean, like, listen, my mom is my best friend, but she is the number one martyr on the planet. Like, she's just always pouring into everyone else, and then she'll get fed up, and then she blows up, and then, it's like, it's like, Mom, just take some time for yourself and stop trying to give away the roost. Just take some time for yourself. But there's so many, especially parents out there, pouring into their kids. And you need to take care of your kids. I don't have any kids, I don't think, but there are probably some out there somewhere.
I'm hiding from mine. Maury keeps calling me, and I'm just don't return his calls. So there's that. So
you're saving up your energy stores so you can maybe one day pour into them, right?
Actually, I'm planning on sending them all to military school, and they can just call me when they turn 18.
Hey, man, you got a plan. That's great.
There you go. Call in here from Adam Husky. Hey, how's it going, buddy? That's what my counselor has been telling me. She said you can't run on empty. Jackson Brown said that as well. Running on empty. There you go. And you're a vet. So, Adam, you should check out Josh's system and his Get Up Gang thing. There'll be a .com and all that good stuff, too. So thanks for the call in there. The one thing you talked about was posture as one of the 4 items that you said were important. Why is posture important? Are you going to yell at me like my mom, or are you going to be like, sit up straight?
No, not at all. I'm not going to yell at you. One, our posture. Okay, so if we're walking around with slumped shoulders, we really project a disempowered state to the world, right? So people, even if you are the most confident person in the world and you're slumped over, you're showing that maybe you're not confident. That's just how people are going to perceive you. But when you stand up straight, shoulders back, you really project confidence to the world. But also at the same time, I did a little video on Instagram most recently, and it was talking about how I believe that maybe anti-anxiety medication is overprescribed in the United States. And if people would just work on their mobility in their soft tissues of the upper body, chest, upper spine, then they'll actually be able to breathe properly. Because the muscle tissues, especially if we're humped over, our lungs expand. And if the box at the lungs, if it's a 10-pound, if it's 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound sack, well, you're not going to be able to breathe max capacity. And what happens when we're anxious? Well, that shortness of breath happens. And then the nervous system's like, oh man, like what's wrong with us? And then we think something's wrong with us. But really and truly, if you just loosen up those tissues and you open up your chest, stand up, you'll be able to breathe better. So
there you go.
But there are some serious mental health issues out there. But I think a lot of people I think that if they just worked on, posture enhancement, it would help a lot of folks.
There you go. I agree. 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound bag. That's the name of my OnlyFans. I couldn't let that joke go by.
I'll check it out, man.
I couldn't let that joke go by. So there you go. I don't know what it means, but it sounded funny in my head. So it must have been not funny. So yeah, postures, that makes sense. And I think you're right about antidepressants. I suffered depression a lot of my life. And in my 50s, I started going to the gym regularly. I think it was right before COVID, 2019, 2020. And I started going every single day. And that was the first time in my life where I literally started going every single day. And I feel so much better. You know, you got you get that testosterone going that you need. You get those endorphins and all the chemicals you need, and you really start feeling good. Mm-hmm. Even though you might feel a little beat up, especially if you're pushing yourself to lift hard. But you kind of feel like a human being again. And I think you're right. I think a lot of people are depressed because we're sitting in darkness, and you get outside, you get some of that vitamin D, and stuff. And usually, if you're working out, you're trying to take a good multi. I was never good at taking vitamins and all the shit you're supposed to take until I probably had vitamin D deficiency much of my life. That makes sense, man. And how you breathe and just oxygen, sometimes it's just the basics, man. You don't have to go to the gym and lift, 500-pound weights, right?
Yeah. And, in the Get Up Gang, so level 1 is the 21-day fit transformation jumpstart with the 4 steps. But level 2, actually, I teach a style of training called Strength Flow. And it's everything that you can do in a 10 by 10 box, 10 foot by 10 foot. You don't need any equipment.
Is this for when I go to prison?
Dude, yes, exactly.
Okay, this is my plan.
If you look at people in jail and prison that actually work out in the jail cell, they're so physical because it's time on task and they're doing everything they can. They're getting creative and with their body, they're moving and they own their physicality. So with Strength Flow, these style workouts, they don't beat you up. They actually make you feel energized, and it's stress alleviation, athleticism enhancement, and the whole soft tissue therapist thing. Since I'm a massage therapist, but I don't put my hands on people a whole lot. I teach people how to unlock their bodies. Oh. So yeah, man. I mean, we start unlocking these stagnant tissues, these past injuries. We're moving in flow. We're getting our circulation going, learn how to breathe better, getting our body back on track with balance and rhythm and timing. Dude, people they gain really, really fast. And I mean, it's a lot different than what most people teach. But my goal, because my clients are like a book that I write, right? Like that's my evidence to the world. And I want them to incrementally step up. It's the whole fuck your luck thing. This is not by chance. I want people to move at their own pace and take one step at the time. And I don't want them to jump 5 steps ahead. Like if you're lifting weights and all of a sudden you're feeling good that day and you can deadlift like 100 pounds and you're like, oh, I'm feeling good, so I'm going to deadlift like 150 today. You might get 1, but then rep 2, you like blow your back out. It's like, well, shit, you can't do it tomorrow. So yeah, man. So the thing with the body weight workouts and moving in flow, you're not going to get hurt. You're figuring out where your trouble areas are, and it's incremental gains. So that's why I love it so much, and the people love it too.
There you go. And I think that's the problem with most people. For years or decades, I would go to the gym and I'd be like, I'm going to work out. The whole New Year's resolution bullshit. And like, I'm going to go work out, and then I go like lift something really hard. And then for like 3 days, I couldn't move because all the acid had built up in my elbows and everything. Potassium that you need more potassium. But I just basically hurt myself. And then you're like, oh God, this workout out sucks. And you got to wait for all that lactic acid or whatever it is that builds up to wash out of your system. And then you just I want to do that again. And, it's a constant cycle of up and down instead of just trying to go steady. So I like the modality that you use in keeping it very simple and just easy to go. One thing you talk about too is psychological warfare. Tell us about what that's about.
It's winning the war winning the battle before you ever even get to the battlefield. And I don't necessarily have to do it so much right now. Now in real estate sales, sometimes I, have to throw some stuff out there, some tactics and whatnot. But psychological warfare, it's basically for example, like when I played baseball and our game's next week, I may try to go take the coach's daughter out on a date, for the other team before our big game or something along those lines. Because listen, man,
take his wife out.
Yeah, like wife, daughter, whatever. But and or just talking a lot of shit on the field or during warm ups. I'm taking line drives off the shoulder and just like screaming and being crazy and just like scaring the shit out of the other team. It's just because you get in people's heads and they're hesitant because they don't want to mess with you. They know you're crazy. And it's just making sure that your reputation does the work for you before you ever actually have to go out to battle. Because I think it was Sun Tzu, The Art of War. There was one story where he's like sitting on this big wall and he didn't have any army whatsoever. And the army coming up, he was like, they see Sun Tzu sitting on the wall. And they're like, why is he just sitting on the wall waiting for us? Like, what does he have in store for us? But really, Sun Tzu didn't have shit. Like, but the other army just left. They're like, hell no, I don't know what the deal is, man.
Like, comfortable there.
So I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger was big on psychological warfare too. That's so it's helped me out a lot in my life, and sometimes it backfires, but because but you still have, you got to throw the kitchen sink at it sometimes.
There you go. Sometimes having psychological warfare with your own mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's when sometimes I have that where I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym. I feel like shit. And sometimes I do feel like shit. And I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym. You're like, you have to go to the gym. And you're like, I don't want to go. And so I've learned that, okay, yeah, all right. So you don't want to work out. Okay. But we're going to drive to the gym. And we're going to go sit there. Maybe we'll sit in one of the massage chairs, or maybe we'll just sit in the locker room or sit in the sauna. But we're going to the gym. All right. There you go. And I'll drive myself to the gym. And it's kind of funny. As soon as I walk in there, I just kind of jump right into state. And even if I feel really bad, I'm like, okay, well, you might as well here. Might as well go lift some weight, just keep everything moving. And you just start lifting some weights, and suddenly just everything will kick in, and you're just back in gear, and you're just like, screw it, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
You throw up a few times, and you're fine.
If you don't go, you're going to regret that you didn't go. So
you hate yourself. Yeah, you're just like, I'm going to, and if you go, and sometimes I do. Like the other night, I went, I wasn't feeling well, I had some pains, and I went and sat in the sauna, and the sauna kind of loosened me up. I had like a headache or something from probably caffeine withdrawals. And so I went and sat in the sauna, and that got up on my pores and opened up my brain, what's left of it, and my body. And that thing, saunas are really good for you. And so then I was like, hey, I really feel good now. My headache kind of went away. So there you go. What else have we talked about that you do and help your clients with you want to pitch out here today?
Man, I think we've pretty much covered it, but just come see me at getupgang.com and listen, I know that you'll be able to progress with the teachings that are in that group whatever your goal is. If you want to go be a hellacious linebacker or you're looking to lose 100 pounds, it all starts pretty much with the same foundational goals of setting up straight, cleaning out your guts, eating more protein, and that daily movement practice of your body. That's gonna make you level up no matter who you are or where you're starting.
Move that damn body, people. Jesus already. So there you go. Well, Josh, it's been wonderful to have you on. Give us your .com before we go out.
Same as my Instagram handle, thejoshparish.com, thejoshparish.com.
There you go. Thank you very much, Josh, for coming on. It's been very fun and entertaining and informative.
Appreciate you, Chris.
There you go. And thanks to our audience. We appreciate you guys as well. As always, refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Give us those beautiful 5-star reviews because, gosh darn it, we love them. Excellent and informative, someone said. Chris is a premier podcaster, versatile, professional, respectful, and entertaining. I'm respectful? When did that start? All right. So there you go. Thank you for whoever posted that. I can't even pronounce your name. It's like WGGG. It's like really people in their names. But we love you guys when you do that. I'm going to sit home and sit it tonight and curl up in the fetal position and cry that someone wrote something nice about me on iTunes. So thank you very much. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and Chris Voss 1 on TikTok. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys next time. Looks like